Hello guys, I gave an interview in a company called AWL India Private Limited, and that company is situated in Gurugram, and the interview date was the 8th May 2025. So they asked me what is the facade in Laravel. So I said in Laravel a facade is a design pattern that provides a static interface to classes that are available in the Laravel service container. So in simple terms, facades let you call Laravel services or classes like static methods, while internally they resolve objects from the service container. So for example, you have the use illuminate support facade cache double colon put key value 600. So behind the scenes, Laravel resolves the cache service from the container and calls the put method on that instance. So key points: facades are not truly static. They use PHP magic like the double colon call static to route static calls to the service container. They help write cleaner and shorter code. All Laravel facades are defined in the Illuminate support facades. So common Laravel facades like the DB, cache, log, route, storage, auth, view, session. So summary is the facades in Laravel let you write simple code like this, like cache double colon put, log double colon info, db double colon table, instead of creating full objects or using dependency injection. The second question they asked me, what is the service provider in Laravel? So I said in Laravel, service providers are the central place where you bind classes, interface and functionality to the Laravel service container. They are the core mechanism for bootstrapping your application and making it ready to use. So common use cases for service providers: binding classes or interface to the container, useful for dependency injection; configuration loading, registering configuration files into the application; event listener, registering events and their listeners; middleware, registering custom middleware; routing, registering routes in the boot method; publishing assets, making asset like configuration files, views, etc. A service provider class has two main methods, that is the register and boot. So register method used to bind service into the Laravel service container. You typically register binding or configuration here in register method. Second is the boot method, used to perform tasks that are needed after all services have been registered. You typically use this method for tasks like registering routes, registering event listener, configuring settings or running setup tasks. The summary of service providers: register, so bind service to the container; boot, execute task when application boots; used to manage dependency and configure services, essential for expanding Laravel's core functionality. Service container versus service provider in Laravel. So service container, a tool to store and resolve classes objects; service provider, a class that register things into the container. Also, service container provides instances of classes when needed, while service provider tells Laravel what to register and startup. At startup, service container dependency injection, app class calls; service provider register bindings, event routes, config, etc. Service container at runtime when your code needs a class; service provider during app startup bootstrapping; service container app make my class; service provider my service provider register method. Service provider binds something to the container like public function register, this app bind; my helper function return my new helper. Second, service container gives it to you when needed. Dollar helper is equal to app my helper. Service provider is equal to register and set up the service. Service container deliver the service when asked. Question 4. Last second salary. He asked me you have to create a MySQL query where you have to select last second salary. So the let's create a table which contains ID, name, and salary. Then insert some dummy data. Then the query select distinct salary from employees. Order by salary. Disk limit 1, offset 1. Okay. Jira workflow. They asked me another question because the Jira was mentioned in my resume. So he asked, can you tell me the Jira workflow? So I said a Jira workflow is the step-by-step process that a task or issue follows from start to finish. It shows how work moves through different stages. Commonly workflow example: to do. First is to do, work not started yet. Second, in progress, work is being done. Third one is in review, someone is checking the work. Fourth one is done. Okay. So each workflow has part and what it comes. Status, current status of the task, that is to do, in progress. Transition, action to move from one status to another, like the start, submit, approve. Third is the condition validation, optional rules like only a manager can approve. So why Jira is useful? Track progress clearly. Assign responsibility, helps in managing project better. Example in real life: imagine a software bug. To do, develop, pick it up, fix it up. In progress, fixing the bug. In review, QA checks the fix. Done, bug is fixed and approved. So they asked me what is a stored procedure. This is another question. So I said a stored procedure is a prepared SQL code that you can save, so the code can be reused over and over again. So if you have an SQL query that you write over and over again, save it as a stored procedure and then just call it, execute it. He suddenly asked me that how it is beneficially when you are reusing it, because these query are saved in the query. Okay. So example, create a sample database. You create a database company, use company, then create a table, that is employee table, then some columns: ID, name, department, salary. Then put some dummy data in this table. Then create procedure, get all employees, begin, select star from employee, and delimiter. Call the stored procedure, call get employee. You can call a stored procedure in MySQL using the call statement. So basic syntax: call procedure name, parameter 1, 2. Okay. He asked me what are the joins. So I said SQL joins are used to combine rows from two or more tables based on a related column between them. Let's have you have a database. Okay. Inside that you have employees, and inside that you have column ID, name, department. Then insert some data, dummy data. Then create table, department ID and department name. Then insert into some dummy data, department. Okay. Now the inner join returns only the rows where there is a match in both tables. Okay. Left join returns all rows from the left table and matched row from the right table. If there is no match, null values are returned for the column from the right table. Right join returns all the rows from the right table and matched row from the left table. If there is no match, null value are returned for the column from the left table. Full outer join returns all the rows from the both table If there is no match, null value are returned for the columns from the table that doesn't have match. Okay. he so he asked me what is the default join. So I said if you simply use the keyword join without specifying a type, SQL assume it's an inner join. Okay. Also, they asked me one question: why would you use a full outer join? So I said, and full outer join is a method for combining tables so that the result include unmatched row from both the table. If you are joining two tables and want the result, set the include unmatched row from the both tables. Use a full outer join. Okay. They ask me what is the difference between or comparison between the PHP 7 and 8. So PHP 7 is fast and PHP 8 is even faster because we are using a just in compile JIT engine, just in time compiler. Name argument PHP 7 no, PHP 8 yes. Match expression PHP 7 no, PHP 8 yes. Null safe operator, that is question mark, etc. PHP 7 no, PHP 8 yes. Attribute annotation PHP 7 no, PHP 8 yes. Union type PHP 7 string, PHP 8 no. Constructor promotion PHP 7 no, PHP 8 yes. str content etc. PHP 7 no, PHP 8 yes. JIT compiler PHP 7 no, PHP 8 yes. Old function PHP 7 still available, PHP 8 some removed or changed. JIT stands for just in time compiler. Instead of running code line by line like usual, JIT compiles parts of the code into machine level instructions just before they are needed, making it run faster, especially for a complex or repeated task. Here is a clear view showing the timing comparison between PHP 7 and PHP 8. So let's say you have created a prime number program. You have a function is prime and num is less than equal to and return else, return false for I equal to 2, I is less than equal to sqrt dollar num I plus plus. If nim ampersand I equal to 0, return false, return true. Dollar start micro time, count 0 for I equal to 0, I is less than equal to 10,000, I plus plus is prime, count plus plus. So dollar and micro time true, echo total prime number this, echo time taken and minus start dot seconds. Okay. So if we compare now PHP 7 and PHP 8, so PHP 7.4 it takes approximately 1.8 seconds. PHP 8 without JIT it takes 1.7 seconds, and PHP 8 with JIT it will take 1.1 seconds only. So conclusion is JIT can improve performance especially for CPU heavy loops or calculation. Not a big boost for typical website tasks like rendering HTML, but great for the data processing. Steps to enable just in time compiler or JIT. Find your php.ini file, operate and opcache.enable 1, opcache.enable CLI 1, opcache JIT buffer size 100 M, opcache JIT 1255. Okay. So new feature in PHP 8. First is the JIT, then union types, name argument, match expression, null safe operator, attribute, constructor property, promotion, new string functions like the str contains, str start or str ends, static return types, weak weak maps, better memory management for object in cache, improve error handling, more consistent and helpful error messages. Protected method and how do we call it in another class. So he said that let's say we have to use this protected method. So how we will call it in the another class. Okay. So a protected method in PHP can only be accessed inside the same class. or from a child class. Okay, so let's have you have a class A protected function greet return hello. You cannot call greet from outside the class like object equal to new A echo object equal to greet, because it will give the error. So how to use it in another class? You can extend or inherit the class and then call the method like class A protected function greet return hello from A. Class B extends A public function show greetings return this greet. So it allow here. So object equal to new B and echo object show greeting, output will be the hello from A. So summary is access modifier where it accessible, public everywhere, protected same class plus child class, private only in the same class. Let's see how to call a protected method without inherit using the PHP reflection for advanced cases like the testing or debugging. So use the reflection to call a protected method. So for example, you have a class A protected function greet method, then return hello from A. Then you have created an object of new A. Then reflection equal to new reflection class A double colon class. Then dollar method equal to reflection get method greet. Then method is equal to set access true, make it accessible. Echo method is equal to invoke object. So important notes. This breaks encapsulation, so use it only when necessary. It's not recommended in normal app logic. When should you use it? For testing protected private methods, for debugging or meta programming where you can't modify the original class. So question 10. Have you ever used interface in an object? Answer. Or they ask me why do we need interface first of all and define a clear content. Okay. So interface specify what method a class must implement, ensuring consistent behavior across the different implementation. Support multiple enable loop coupling. Code depends on abstraction interfaces rather than concrete classes, making the system more flexible and easier to maintain or extend. Support multiple implementation. Different classes can implement at the same interface in their own way, allowing easy swapping without changing client code. Improve testability. Interface make it easier to create mock object during the unit testing, facilitating better test coverage and isolate tests. Enhance code organization and readability. They clearly design intention and helps team follow consistent coding standard. Example to explain why interfaces are useful. Imagine you have a notification system. Instead of writing your code directly for mail verification, you define an interface. So interface notifier public function send dollar. Then create multiple classes implementing it. Class email notifier implement notifier public function send dollar message. Then class SMS notifier implement notifier public function send message. So he asked me, so where did you use interface? So I could tell him that let's say we have an interface notifier and then we are creating the multiple classes to implement it. So that is the email notifier and email SMS notifier. So your main code depends on the notifier interface, not on the specific class. Function notifier user message, then notifier send a message. This way you can swap email with SMS or add new notifier easily without changing notify user. What is this? Why this is important? Make code flexible and extendable, easy to maintain and test, promote clean architecture and solid principle. So these all questions were asked by the AWL India Private Limited, Gurgaon, and the interview date was the 8th May 2025. So I will share more interview question with you. Till then, bye.